You know what changes everything. It's not becoming a millionaire. It's not suddenly earning some crazy salary, and it's definitely not looking rich on the outside. The real shift happens much earlier than that. There comes a point where money stops feeling like a constant emergency. A point where checking your account balance doesn't instantly raise your stress level. A point to where one unexpected expense doesn't destroy your whole month. And for a lot of people, that point is not as far away as they think. It's when you build your first real financial cushion. Because until that moment, life feels fragile. Every bill feels urgent. Every expense feels personal. Every mistake feels expensive. When you don't have savings, money controls the way you think. It controls your decisions. It controls your confidence. And sometimes, without realizing it, it even controls your future. You stay in jobs you've outgrown because leaving feels too dangerous. You avoid risks that could improve your life because you can't afford uncertainty. You make short-term choices, not because you want to, but because survival forces you to. That's the part people don't talk about enough. Being broke doesn't just affect your wallet, it affects your mindset. It keeps your brain stuck in reaction mode. You're not thinking about growth. You're not thinking about freedom. You're just trying to make it to next week without something going wrong. But once you finally build a decent amount of savings, something starts to shift. You breathe differently. You think differently. You carry yourself differently. Because now, money is no longer just something that disappears as soon as it arrives. Now it starts becoming a tool, a buffer, a form of protection, and eventually, a source of power. That's why the first serious amount you save matters so much. Not just because of what it is financially, but because of what it does psychologically. It proves that you can delay gratification. It proves that you can be consistent. It proves that you can build something instead of constantly repairing damage. And once you prove that to yourself, your identity starts to change. You stop seeing yourself as someone who's always behind. You start seeing yourself as someone who is capable of building wealth. And that mindset is worth more than most people realize. Because wealth building is not only about math. Yes, numbers matter. Yes, investing matters. Yes, compound growth matters. But before any of that really works, you need stability. You need breathing room. You need enough space in your life to stop making decisions from fear. That's when better choices start happening naturally. You stop obsessing over tiny expenses and start paying attention to the big ones. You think more carefully about lifestyle inflation. You become more intentional about debt. You focus more on income growth, long-term investing, and financial freedom. And that's when money starts working differently. At first, every bit of progress comes from effort, from sacrifice, from discipline, from sighing. But over time, if you protect what you've built, your money starts helping you. It starts creating momentum, and momentum is everything. Because the beginning is always the hardest part. In the beginning, it feels slow, it feels invisible. It feels like you're doing all this work and getting almost nothing back. That's why most people quit too early. They think slow progress means no progress. But that's not true. The early phase is where the foundation is built. And once the foundation is strong enough, the game starts to change. Now, you're not just earning money, you're keeping more of it. Growing more of it. Using it with purpose. And maybe the biggest change of all is this. You stop feeling trapped. You stop feeling like every paycheck already belongs to someone else. You stop feeling helpless in your own life. Savings give you options. Options give you confidence. And confidence changes the way you move through the world. You negotiate differently. You plan differently. You recover faster. You take smarter risks. You stop acting desperate. And that alone can completely change the opportunities that come into your life. But here's the mistake people make. The moment they finally build momentum, they reward themselves by destroying it. They upgrade too fast. They spend too quickly. They confuse progress with permission, and suddenly the money that was supposed to create freedom gets used to buy appearances. Don't do that. If you've worked hard to build a financial foundation, protect it, respect it, let it grow, because that money is not there to impress people. It's there to change your life. Real wealth doesn't always look exciting in the beginning. Sometimes it looks like patience, Sometimes it looks like restraint. Sometimes it looks like saying no now, so you can say yes later. But that's how freedom is built. Quietly, consistently, intentionally. So if you're still in the early stage, don't get discouraged. The beginning feels slow for everyone. Just keep building. Keep protecting your progress. Keep choosing long-term peace over short-term pleasure, because the moment money stops being a daily source of stress, your whole life begins to open up. And once that happens, you're no longer just trying to survive. You're finally in a position to build.